Okay guys, welcome back to another episode of What's World Up. In today's video, we will be seeing episode 28 of this series. I hope you enjoy and let's get right into it. So, the first thing we're going to see happening is this blue country, with the support of Russia, nothing, will declare war on this green country because of this territorial claim they have here. They will wanting to take it, so they will attack from this area, and they will quickly take their claimed areas, and now they will ask them for peace, but they will refuse because, like, why? But so then the Greeks will use this opportunity to continue to strike into their territory, moving further and further into their land until they surrender, because they just don't want them to surrender. So yeah, this is getting pretty heated as the war is getting more and more intense. The different parties involved with this war are trying to figure out different ways to win. Like, the green country is trying to be like, hey, anybody want to help me? Neutral? No. Red country? No. Romania? No. South Poland? No. So they are just kind of screwed because nobody wants to help them. At least that borders them. So Poland, like, the green country will slowly lose territory until they make a offensive towards their capital city, and then they will miss their projection, and then they'll send another force down, and then they'll miss again. But now they have encircled the city without really knowing, but they'll kind of just follow neutral's border until they find the city, and they will take the city. So, and then the green country will surrender to the Greek country. Let's look at the peace treaty. So that peace treaty wasn't too bad for them. They just lost a little bit of land, including that thing. So yeah, they are doing pretty well still. But no. Did you really think that was gonna happen? No. Romania will now strike the green country as they wanted land, as they just want territory. So they will attack them and they will de facto join the Greek and Russians, like, I guess, secret alliance or something like that. So they will attack toward the capital city themselves, and they will encircle the city because they missed it, just like the Greeks. Everybody has really bad aim, or I guess like mapping, or maps, I guess. So they will just kind of encircle the city, and then when they find it, they will take it, and then they will surrender. Now let's look at this peace treaty. The country, they've lost way more territory than they did in the other one. They lost their capital city, which is kind of something they wanted. And now we will see something else happening in the Balkans. We will see something unheard of in the Balkans. Alliances. There will be the Circle Alliance will be formed between Russia, Romania, and Greece. So they will form the alliance. So yeah, and just to say this, nations can be a part of two alliances. It's just very unlikely unless they're like really big, because otherwise I won't be able to fit the shapes into them. This alliance has been formed as the Balkan Pact. The Balkan Pact has been formed. Nice, but we'll call them the Circle team, I guess. Because that's kind of just what they are. Yeah, okay. So, over here in Persia, the Russians are going to make advances in this front as they have their allies help to, like, because they have new allies. If you would know, but if you've been watching for more than 10 freaking seconds, they will make more impressive gains with more manpower, and because the allies are probably helping with this, and they will make some certain gains in Persia, but this won't last for long. The brown country has also decided to attack Iran, with them just kind of joining They didn't have an agreement with Russia. That's not what happened here. And they will focus on the southern regions because that's where they're closest to the brown team's capital, and they kind of wanted to defend it. If you wanted to defend it, why the hell did you join this war? But okay. So they will make a push towards Iran's southern areas, I guess, and then they would take more areas in the south of the nation, setting up kind of a buffer zone. I guess they were too worried about Iran being next to their capital. So yeah. Iran won't take this lightly though, and they will decide to retaliate by launching an offensive in the northern parts, where they will take tons of territory. So this is just because Iran and this brown country are kind of evenly matched, so they just kind of counter each other out. If you remember the power rankings from like 2 episodes ago, they aren't really too accurate anymore because of how many changes we've had, but these two are basically still the same, so they might be a bit higher, a bit lower, you guys can decide, but if this one was 8th, this one would be 9th, or vice versa, you can choose, I guess. So, Iran is in a sticky situation. What will make it an even more sticky situation is this new red country has appeared in the northwestern parts of Iran, and they can't really do anything about this because, like, their entire east is being attacked, so what can they really do about their west? Iran is slowly crumbling as they don't really know what to do. They will decide to do something pretty stupid, honestly. And because you know this trade route that was going through this? They will decide to blow it up. Why? That's gonna make it harder for both of you. Like, what? The trade route went kind of through this, across their coastal areas, through their capital, and then into the blue country, then down here. That's kind of where the route went. It definitely went further. It probably went to Egypt-ish, but this is really an important part. And they will kind of blow it up, kind of like here. Is they blow it up, so they kind of just blow it up. This is not gonna look too good for them on the world stage, but I guess do what you do. As the Iranians will try to do something, which is cutting off their supply lines, which will go kind of well, honestly. They will make this will allow them to take some of their land back, because they'll have to fall back to get better supply lines. And the supply line has been cut off, so yeah, great. That's good for Iran. But the Russians in the north are doing more damage because Russia is probably more powerful than both of these nations by like a decent amount, and they will manage to take out the northern areas, which is really all they really wanted. So they're gonna just put up defensive positions and hold out until the war is over, so they can take this territory. Because this is really the only thing they ever wanted out of this war. So they'll just be like, hey, Iran, we will leave this war if you just hand this land over to us, and then you can sort the rest of the crap out. Which Persia will agree to, and this is what this peace treaty looks like. Russia took lots of this northern territory, and now Persia, or Iran, or however you want to call it, because I don't really know what to call it. I've just been calling it Iran because that's what I hear most people calling it. Now they have to focus on this front line down here, so now they can remove their troops from the north and push them back down to the south. Uh-oh, for the brown country. What did I just do? This is a bad thing for if you are a brown team supporter, because they have to fight the entire might of the Iranians. So now their front is going to be pushed back by honestly a lot. They'll be pushed back to their initial gains as their supply lines are getting even more cut off in the south down here, and they will kind of just like they'll call for a ceasefire and a white peace, but Persia or Iran is gonna be like, why would we do that? We are winning. That's like saying if you're losing a video game, hey, how about we make it a draw when you're losing? Like, what? Why? And they will expand their fronts in these other areas because there's like a major city over here, so they'll go take that. They take the major city, and now they are good to go. They push more to the south, and then they will form, and then they'll connect up here, making an encirclement of about 20,000 troops. And now this is a big uh-oh for the Iran country. So the Brown country will indeed surrender to Iran. Let's look at the peace treaty. Okay, so that is the peace treaty. The Iranians have taken their capital city and most of their like coastal areas, and they didn't really see need for this area. They've been forced to move their capital to this kind of area where the second biggest city was. These guys decided not to take their third biggest city, which they occupied over here, which was kind of weird, but okay. So now the Russians have a big power boost as they have taken more Caspian Sea. So they kind of, yeah. So the Iranians, I don't know how to say it anymore, will decide to focus their attention next on this red brickway thing, and they will decide to attack it for their land back. The reason I'm using this different colour, because this was the colour I'd normally use, but I didn't because this was the same colour as what Russia was using, so I couldn't use it in that same war. But Persia will quickly storm in. This small little nation that didn't have a military because it didn't expect that they'd be fighting. They have no military, so they will quickly fall over to them. They will be completely annexed in the peace treaty. Wow. Some of you might say this is some of you might say this is a good thing for Persia or Iran. I don't even know what to call it anymore. That they lost. You guys can decide if this land was worth more than like this land. You guys can decide, I guess. But they mainly it's kind of like a trade-off, I guess. It wasn't, but still. So Persia, I'm just gonna call them Persia. I'm gonna look that up to see what it means. But Iran, I'll call it that for the rest of the episode, and I'll look up what Persia means. And then maybe I'll call it that in the next episode. So Iran has become looking more like real life Iran, which is surprising. In here now in Bangladesh, there will be a secret vote in this area to rejoin Vietnam, and when they secede, and they will leave and they will join Vietnam, the government is going to be mad about this, and then they will tell Vietnam, at least give us the Strait of Malacca, is that what it's called, back, so we can use it. Also, they do have these islands because nobody really wanted to take them, and I can just be able to remove them. So the Vietnamese will agree to give them the Strait of Malacca back, so they will take this territory back. So, okay, so they have taken some of their land back. Okay, good for them. In Europe, we have we're having another war in Europe. We are having a conflict in Poland, surprisingly, where something will spark up. I guess you guys can decide what it is, which will cause a war between the purple country and this East Germany thing. The purple country will be stronger because they have been around for longer, so they are probably way more stronger than these guys. But they will attack them. But before they can do much, this country will join in and attack them both. They will just attack both of their neighbours because why not? So now everybody is at war with everybody in this triangle, I guess. they will make more pushes into this one than they will into this one, as they will quickly be probably pushed out of this one, and then they will actually be losing territory in the Purple Nation. I really don't know why you attacked the Purple Nation, because they're stronger than you, but okay. As they will make impressive gains in this territory, and it's just a mess. But it wouldn't be Poland if a fourth party didn't get involved. The OG Poland will attack both of these nations to retake their land, because they want it back, because they weren't too fond about losing it. So yeah, they will attack this one, which this one will not be expecting it, and this will allow the capital to fall very quickly, surprisingly enough, to this Poland. And now, after they've taken this one's capital, they will focus their attention onto this one, and then they will also take its capital, because Poland is still probably the strongest out of these ones. They're at least probably stronger than these two. I don't know about this one, but no. So then this one will manage to take back this territory. Okay. So yeah, this is a monstrosity. Okay, this is a monstrosity. And a fifth party getting involved. The Dutch country will declare war on the Eastern Germany nation. Okay, the Dutch are the strongest one out of all of these here. Yeah, the Dutch is the strongest. The Dutch can probably do the most damage. So the Dutch will quickly take over this northern area within a few weeks. And this is a bloodbath. So, and then this purple one will take this. They will take about half of the southern nation, and then the rest will fall over to Poland. So these three nations are dead. No, two nations, sorry. These two nations are gone, and this is not good. So, but we're not done. as the Polish country will start attacking the purple team's troops on the border, and will start taking their land. Uh-oh, says the purple team. The Dutch, seeing this, will strike the Polish to try to take this one's capital city, which they will manage to do successfully, which is actually surprising, because they are not known for doing stuff successfully. They are known for just kind of exploding, but that's a joke, but okay. And Poland will be pushed back to the border. Uh-oh, they both say, as the Dutch will come storming in and taking more and more territory. The Dutch will immediately stop though, because after they realise they are becoming just like that monarchy they didn't want to be like, they will just stop and say, we won't expand any more into this territory. You guys, I guess, fix it yourself. So these two will start fighting, with one side looking like they're gonna win, and then the other side looking like they're gonna win, and then they get pushed back, and then they get pushed back again. And then this one will make even impressive gains, and then this one will push with impressive gains back. So yeah, these two are about evenly matched, and they can't really do anything about that. So they're just kind of like screwed, I guess. So anyways, they'll be forced to sign a peace treaty eventually, and that will look something like the Central European nations are they were carved up. The Dutch didn't get too much out of this because they realized they didn't really want to, because they didn't. So they just kind of took the least that they really could, and they didn't really. Yeah. So, but this won't last for long, because it will take some land from all five of these nations that border it. So yeah, they would take, but most of it will be coming from Poland. So yeah. And now they will form their new capital city in the center. So they will decide just put it in the middle. This thing will have a vote, which is not in fact rogued. No, that's not. I'm not saying that sarcastically. It's actually not rogued. And then they will decide to join the Dutch team, because the Dutch team is looking pretty strong at the moment, because they are. But yeah. And I made a map for this, but I'm not going to really show it because it's kind of not important. But this nation here is split into 3 different cultures. I'll show you roughly what they look like now, with there being like a culture up here, a culture down here, and then the rest of this being like a culture. So this is kind of a division of this nation with the different cultures. The southern one has the most power because it has the capital, and followed by this one and then this one. So there will be a breakaway in the northeast one because they feel not appreciated because they have the least power. They will break away into their own independent state, and then they will form their new state. Yeah, that's what they said. And then they will put their capital about there. Okay, so they're doing pretty well. Catalonia will make a decision to split into states. The Catalonians have split into two different states, with the northern one being like a new one, and this one being the remnants of the old one. They have already fallen from their great period, right? Remember when they used to be really big and then used to control like a colony? Remember when they had that? Yeah, no, they don't have that anymore. Yes, is that this small country that has never done anything is going. Well, they've done something actually. They'll split into two as the different parties have different like. So like, I'm not gonna say this is like a democratic nation, but there's two different like areas within this country. Like the west here, like is in favor of the king. This part is in favor of like the there's like a democratic guy who wants to be a democracy. He's there in favor of him, and so they will split, and this will become a democratic nation. Nice. And yeah, in the Americas, there'll be something happening. Is that this nation will the France what France will say offer a certain amount of money for it. These guys, knowing they can't fight these guys, will decide to accept this, and then they will sell this land to the French. So okay, that's good for them, I guess. These guys will now decide to spend that money they just got on buying this territory from the Dutch because they can. Because the Dutch didn't really want it, they just kind of took it, I guess. So they will sell it for about the same they sold this for, so it's kind of like an exchange in a way. But yeah, okay, that's going pretty well. And in the Algerian nation, we will just get a look at the chaos in here. As the Algerian nation here will decide to attack this purple nation that broke away from it, because they are the OG, so they believe they should take it. They will take its capital before they kind of can't anymore. So then they realize they're gonna go broke again. So now they will move the capital to there after losing their coastal access. This brown nation, which I'm not sure why it exists, will take this territory from this one. Like, okay, good for you, I guess. So and now this red one will invade and annex this one, now becoming the strongest nation in the region. Okay, good for them, I guess. And then this orange country will invade and annex this brown one. Uh-oh, things are getting smaller. Before these three nations and form their own independent state because they just kind of want to do that. So, yeah. That is the details of here for today. Hopefully they could be able to unify at some point before the Scramble for Africa happens, but I don't really know. I mean, I'm nothing, because there definitely won't be a Scramble for Africa in the series. Why would you think that? In Central Asia, something's going to be happening. Nothing ever freaking happens here. In this orange nation, a green team breakaway will appear in the north, in part of the nation. They don't really care as this is the less populated areas of the nation, so they'll just kind of let it go because they don't really give two craps about it. So yeah. And the Dutch will continue expansion into this. Nobody really likes them doing this, but they kind of just do it because they want to. So I guess they do that. And it wouldn't be the world if somebody else didn't get involved with that. Who is this getting involved with this right now? Who do you think is getting involved with this? On the southern part of Australia, there will be a red team landing in the southern areas of the Australian continent, where they will take this and what is this thing called again? I forgot what this thing's called. Tasmania? That's what it's called? Tasmania? Of Africa update. Bum bum. There'll be a Horn of Africa update because yes, why the hell not? Your weekly Horn of Africa update will be just kind of this one will attack this one, and then they will stop they'll just kind of stop after encircling this area, which was really weird, but okay. Then this blue one will invade this one as it's getting too chunky, and then it will split. This one will split into two pieces, with this one being the original one, and then the purple one being a new one. So this is your Horn of Africa update done. And after last episode, the purple team was gearing up for something. Nobody probably remembers that, but they did. So what they will do is they will launch a massive attack towards the green team's capital city. They will launch a massive strike in their territory. The green team was not expecting this, as they've not had bad relations, but like they literally helped divide the red team. I mean, I guess so. They will get really close to the capital city. They will get very close to the capital, and then they will make an encirclement up in the northern parts, locking in the capital city as not being able to get out, as the capital city is locked in, and then the capital city will fall. Which is, I guess, what preparation does. You can just do anything with that thing. And then they'll rapidly push into the rest of the nation, with them taking the east, and soon after the nation falls. And in the peace treaty, complete annexation, and also they annexed the red team because they invaded them too, because the red team smells. So the purple team is very powerful now. They aren't strong, but they're big. So that doesn't mean strong though. So yeah. Russia will now turn its focus to the Caucasians, and they will attack them, and then they will do substantial damage before realizing that it's Caucasia because there is Caucasian mountains. But they haven't got there yet, so they will continue attacking it before they realize, oh god, there's mountains here. The capital will be heavily defended by the Caucasians, but they will kind of slow down their advance because, well, there's mountains, they can't really take them. So this is kind of where the front will stalemate because of mountains and stuff. And this small nation, this purple one, will invade this other purple one and will completely annex it. Alright, annexation time. So I'm doing a lot of things in this episode, honestly. Okay. Cycle is coming up, and the election. Yes, because remember they have elections, and if we skip by a few years, no, not a few years, but I guess a month or so, the winner of the election is a guy who is anti triple stars because they were kicked out. So they will decide to form their own alliance to counter the Triple Star's influence. Uh-oh. The Hexagon team will be formed between the Dutch and surprisingly the French, because the French doesn't like the Triple Stars. They haven't had the best of history, but like the French the French are fine with this Dutch. They didn't like the monarchy is what the one they didn't like. These two nations alone could probably take on the Triple Stars in a war. So we will just see. Because the Triple Stars are about with South Poland being maybe top 30, and then with this one being maybe top 20, and then this one being top 10, with this one being top 5, and this one being top 1 because it's the number 1 power. So I guess I kind of yeah, it's going pretty well. Okay, it's going pretty well. So now the Triple Stars are going to be threatened by this, so they will try to find new members that want to help. Who else wants to help? Who else wants to help? They will form a secret alliance, or I guess agreement, with the Square Alliance to counteract these guys' influence because they're very strong. And the Russians are kind of just like watching from afar, but they kind of have they are going to reach out to the hexagons to secretly join their alliance, and this is just chaos. So the Hexagon Alliance is yes, and tensions begin to rise between these alliances as the Hexagons were made to counteract these guys. If you didn't realize, this is about the this is about similar to when the 7 Years War happened. So this is kind of similar to that. That's kind of what I'm doing here. This is it's probably not going to be a 7 Years War because it's probably be longer than that. But if this war does break out, it will most likely be historically based off the 7 Years War, because that was a big thing, as some people call it, World War 0.5. So anyways guys, stay tuned